It's a very unique situation. I was in Parliament in the year 2000 when the Amnesty Act was being passed. Actually, it was the 21st of January, the year 2000. And if you read the long title of the Act, it states, the long title is what a layman can use to understand why the law is passed. So it says the Amnesty Act, then the long title, an act to provide for forgiveness of those involved in warlike activities and related substances. So when we were passing the Amnesty Act in 2000, I was 23 years old and a member of Parliament then. We did not imagine that the Amnesty Act would apply to political dissent. At the time we were passing the law, there was war in northern Uganda. Many young people who were abducted by Joseph Kony, maimed, taken into captivity, wanted to come back home. But they were saying, if we come back home, the government will kill us. And we went and pleaded with President Museveni in Gulu barracks. And thank God, that night we were, actually parliamentary group was with President Museveni in Gulu barracks. The rebels also attacked the LRA rebels. I think they stood like some 10 kilometers and sent some mortars. So the PGB then came running, Your Excellency, they have come. And in my heart I was saying, it is good. You are here as a visitor and the rebels have come. We have been living with these things. So the purpose of the law was to forgive those who are involved in actual combatant activities, to come home. And in one of the reception centers where the rebels were returning in thousands, I remember in the year 2001, I was with General Salim Saleh in Pajule, you would see a huge crowd of people waiting for 20 kilograms of maize, 10 kilograms of beans, a saucepan, a panga. I don't know how they call it in English, panga.
Panga machete. I think machete.
Then they give them a certificate and say, go home, you are now free. No one will follow you for all the atrocities.
Also given some iron sheets?
No, then there were so many, because this amnesty law helped settle 20,000 ex-LRA combatants. So today, if I see National Unity Platform members, young boys in the streets of Kampala, being taken to prison and coming out under the Amnesty Act, that was not what we foresaw in 2001. The Amnesty Act could probably be applied to something like LRA, ADF, and all those kind of activities. So to me, it is abuse of the Act. That you get someone for being in National Unity Platform, you take him to Luzira, he pleads guilty, then he comes and gets an amnesty certificate. That is a total abuse. But there is also another law we passed there, which was called the Anti-Terrorism Act, which allowed also the government to list organizations that were terrorists.
As terrorist organizations?
Yes, as terrorist organizations. So what a sane Minister of Justice should have done should have first been to list National Unity Platform as a terrorist organization.
So that these activists can be?
Yes, so that these activists can now qualify under the Act. So I find it very superfluous. I find it unique. But be it as may, I've been to Entebbe Zoo several times. I've taken my children there. My last born, Armstrong, likes it. But one thing I've seen in the zoo, where the tiger, you've seen the tiger in the zoo there. They feed it on schedule. They give it food on time. The government even pays salary for officers feeding them. They even give them ranks. A Uganda Wildlife Authority to feed the tiger on time and the right quantities of meat. But when you go to the zoo, you find the tiger trying to touch the fence, even when it's satisfied, trying to get out. What does it mean? It means freedom is better than peace. The tiger is at peace, eating on time, everything is okay. But they still need freedom. So in my honest opinion, all those National Unity Platforms should just do whatever it takes to get out. Just sign, just say you have done anything so that you get out and go home. Otherwise, you are just going to die there for nothing. So for me, whether it is just sign any paper, please, those of you who are still there waiting, sign any paper, look for anyone. These are not normal times.
You're now speaking like a politician, not
a lawyer. These are not normal times. You even see their lawyer. It has to be a Kakuru. If you are a Lukwago, you'll be where you'll be. This is not normal times even for us.
Been there too, so.
Yeah, no, I am not underestimating you, but these are not normal times. If it were me, the lawyer of those National Unity Platform, I would probably be somewhere where areas look like
let me ask,
so just accept, sign any paper and come out.
Let me ask Honorable Wanyoto Mutende, and in this, on this, she doesn't speak in the capacity of a minister. I think we need to put that disclaimer, but she can choose how she's, what capacity she speaks in. But you're seeing all this controversy, and people asking, even the arrest itself in the first place, was it based on actual criminality, or was this politics right from the onset?
First of all, I was invited to speak about the amnesty issue, and the amnesty is within our laws of Uganda, and there is a running commission, and because of our history, they've been handling many cases of people who would like to, by way of mediation, to get out of a conflict situation and get reintegrated in society, and life goes on, being put behind issues that put them at loggerheads, maybe with the government or with the rule of law. So the Amnesty Act, and also by the Amnesty Commission, the institution that processes this type of people, is there in Uganda, and it has served the cause in many areas of our country where we've had conflict. For this particular case, I've been listening carefully. We have talked about the 29 and the 9, the 28 and the 9
and the 9
in terms of, I would call them, you are calling them NUP, maybe activists. But when you get arrested, as it is alleged, and when it's no longer, you cannot be, in our laws of our country, you cannot be arrested because you are a political party activist. You are arrested by your particulars, and there must be a charge sheet. So this debate is a bit, it's not well informed by the environment we are discussing, because when you said they were arrested, I've never seen, maybe Kakulu can tell us.
An abduction because they were picked from.
Because so you invite me as an advocate, I'm the lawyer. The school I went to discuss an arrest, there must be a charge sheet. And you cannot be arrested because of your beliefs. You're arrested because they must prescribe the omission or commission, and it's personal. They ask you for your name and your age and your crime committed.
Isn't that exactly
so this conversation
is discussing? Isn't that exactly why we're discussing this? Isn't that exactly why?
But I'm trying to now put into perspective.
Hold it a moment. Isn't that exactly why this particular release, the circumstances, the manner of release, is causing a storm? It's causing a debate.
Maybe Kakulu can tell us a little more. That's why I'm listening in, because he said he's their lawyer.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell us about the particulars, because I don't think that you went to court and there was no charge sheet, because for the laws that we know about.
I can provide context.
Well, you can, but being the lawyer, I can give us the witness.
The 28 were apparently picked up in the heat of the 2021 campaign, most of them. 2021 campaign.
Accused
season.
of?
Kakuru, your clients were accused of what?
Accused of treachery and possessing firearms. But they were picked from political rallies, and one of the political rallies was in Kalangala. So I don't know whether they had guns on a political rally for the honorable.
What would prevent them from having firearms if they needed to have them?
Because
at any point
they are not allowed. And two, they were on a political rally of a recognized and registered political party. So maybe if the honorable minister wants to say that NUP is a terrorist group or a rebel group.
I am not saying anything. Yes. I'm trying to make sense of the debate so that we can discuss within what he has described as.
What I'm saying
I have not come here to speculate anything.
Okay. What
I'm come here to, if you can listen to me, because you are the lawyer for our colleagues, tell us what you have seen so that we can begin from there. I don't have to split hairs here. And I think you are understanding me well.
Okay, I hear you.
The laws of Uganda and courts of Uganda are structured.
The question,
if these guys were taken, even non-communicado, there was no charge sheet, that's a debate not for lawyers. That's what
the debate
we do.
that is emerging, and yourself and Odonga Oto refer to the Amnesty Act.
Yes.
I've also talked about
Yes, you've talked about the Amnesty Act. The major question people are asking is, did they actually qualify for release under that act?
You see, then you have to explain, like my brother Odongo has told you, the context under which they were exposed to the Amnesty Act. Because you have to confess as an individual with your particulars. If you plead guilty of the charge and they say, look, there's an opportunity for you to get out, then whom am I to say don't get out?
The political context is
because the Amnesty Act is very clear and the Commission is very clear on how the processes, on how you can use it to get your freedom. It's what I'm talking about. Yes. And if it was used out of context, then it ceases to be the legal process. It now becomes something else.
Something else like what?
Which Honorable Dongoto has given an example. And me, really, I'm not here to speculate. I'm here to try to understand.
For you as a lawyer,
to interrogate under what circumstances our people, through their lawyer, were processed to get freedom through the Amnesty Act or the Commission.
Mr. Kakuru, let me come back to you. Under the Amnesty Act, how does somebody qualify?
You see someone
to benefit from amnesty?
Yeah.
What is the process?
That is the issue.
Someone to qualify. Actually, before we go to the qualification, as the Honorable said, this act was enacted in 2001.
Yeah.
And if you read the act, it was supposed to end in 2006 unless the minister extended it. I think Honorable
It was a time-limited piece of legislation.
And it was, as Honorable said, it was for people who are engaged in warfare. Political, not political, but warfare. They are rebels, like he said, in the north. Those are the people who qualify. That now you surrender that, no, I've been having a Kone group, I've been having LRA, I've been having all those
I've been involved
groups,
in ADF.
ADF. You admit that I've been involved in such warfare against the government, so now I accept. Please forgive me. Actually, the meaning of amnesty is pardon, forgiving, not anything beyond that.
Let me ask you a different question.
Yes.
Did you have opportunity to advise your clients on these two paths to regaining their freedom? The group that was given a pardon, a presidential pardon, and the group that has been released under amnesty?
Not any, because
why?
With the lawyers, they advised our clients while still at court martial that for them to benefit in anything, they should abandon the National Unity Platform lawyers and get government lawyers. That was the first thing. And in negotiation, as I said, with the Honorable Minister, Baram, they did not involve any of us as lawyers. And even this is the same thing that has happened in this amnesty issue. It is so contradicting that people were involved in a political campaign, right? Then ending up now being given amnesty certificates as former rebels or warfare people against their government makes it a totally different thing.
But you would appreciate, Mr. Kakuru, that to those people who were released, both for many of our viewers, they remember, I think one of the outstanding members of that group is a lady called Olivia Lutaya.
Yeah.
I think that's the one many people have.
Actually, she's now in prison for another offense for coming now to 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. So, but many of those who still have their freedom,
yes,
their families, their friends watching this show are happy that they are out. And so they would say, look at that Kakuru seated there in studio. These lawyers were complicating matters for us. At least we have our people back home.
I get you on that, and I support it very much. I'm not complaining about why these people got out. But you need to weigh in the effect of the amnesty certificate they hold. Because they have already been convicted. No, they have been pardoned and given amnesty certificates. It means if they don't change, because they were arrested and have been in prison for 6 years because they supported NUP. If they don't change from NUP, they again get arrested. They won't qualify for an amnesty again. I think all lawyers here can agree.
Major, which wanted to come in. Yeah, and I think I know you wanted to say something, but if you could also pick it up from there.
Yeah.
When you receive a pardon should only come after conviction and sentencing, and then you apply. It's an elaborate process. Yeah. There is supposed to be a pardon committee or something?
Yeah, there is a committee.
There is a committee, yes, Presidential Pardon Committee, where your name is supposed to be proposed, and you're vetted, and a decision is made. Amnesty, you have admitted to committing these offenses. And this goes onto your record. It determines where you'll travel, how you'll travel. It determines whether you can contest for political office. It determines so many things on your record. So I want to pick it up from there.
Well, there are two things here, as you say. A pardon, which is under prerogative of mercy, is exercised or given after an exhaustion. You have exhausted all criminal proceedings. You are convicted and you have not appealed. Okay? Now, it is at that point that a committee on the prerogative of mercy can process it. I'm using processing because it's elaborate process to have you benefit from that. And that is a clear path. So if, for example, the trial is still ongoing or you have made an appeal, you can't benefit from that. But the point here is where there's we are feeling like some people came out under a wrong law. It has occurred and it can occur. We have a general saying that laws are not interpreted outside court, because when you do it outside court, there is no opposite party to say the contrary, and there's no arbiter, a judge in the middle. So that is why it carries that common saying. Now, and this kind of mistake happens especially in an attorney general or state system. For example, there was a time when a maid was captured in camera and wanted to kill a baby, and was really stepping on the baby in a local language, trying to kill the baby or attempting to kill. And the DPP went and charged the girl of attempted murder. And he couldn't stand. It's not enough to say he was attempting to murder. Attempted murder has an ingredient of weapons. So even if you strangle me nearly to death with your hand, you have not attempted to murder me. So this kind of interpretation of the law comes. And I wouldn't be surprised, therefore, that in the mix of things and with the zeal Honorable Balam had, that these people benefited, got their freedom, but under a wrong law. So those kind of interpretation of the law, and that's why we insist laws are not interpreted outside court, because nobody's there to say the contrary at that time. And it happens even in charging. You find a DPP charging somebody of a whole DPP, charging that, because like that case of the stepping on the baby which was captured in camera, it became such a public thing that, oh my God, the maids keep at home, they torture children, you see this was captured in camera, and the charge sheet was quickly attempted murder. Literally translated like a vernacular, he tried to kill, and it couldn't stand, and it is a whole DPP. And yet attempted murder as an ingredient. If you don't have a weapon, as even if you strangle me to death, it is not attempted murder. You must have a panga, you must have a gun, you must have something. So this kind of legal positions that are taken, and in this case somebody could have taken it in good faith, but you find you have taken out of a wrong law, happens in many legal positions, and both in criminal proceedings and even in civil. And that's why I always insist that laws are not interpreted outside court. But it is now a duty of, because we have a whole chamber of Attorney General who should really provide this legal provisions. But sometimes maybe the lawyers miss out of this when politicians come with a proposal. The politician has already come with his proposal. I have negotiated, I want these people to benefit, to get their freedom under amnesty. So the kind of lawyer who is supposed to handle the file also succumb to such an interpretation of the law, and somebody gains freedom. And that's why Honorable Toh is saying, me, I don't care how I get my freedom, whether it is under the wrong law or otherwise, but that is it. But I just like to say that in this case, the benefit of the freedom for these particular persons and the wrong law, that is how it comes, both in criminal cases and in others. People.
What does that say to you as a lawyer, as an advocate?
What it says to me is that politicians should give the lawyers due chance to give their valid legal opinion. And politicians who have lawyers who are their advisors should not come with a preconceived position of their law. They should really put the facts as they are and honestly wait for an opinion. Because the lawyers also sometimes get on the weight of the politician who is coming.
That is you wearing your robes as an advocate.
Yes.
And when you wear the coat of Director External Affairs at the NRM Secretariat, what would you say?
I still urge the same. I still urge the same.
Honorable Dogota, just before you take a break.
You see,
Where does this put you as lawyers?
you know,
I'm one of you, so...
when I first went to study political science, my first degree, I thought it was a good course. Then along the way, I changed my mind and went and did a second degree in law because I had so many questions that were not answered. But then I realized that in politics, you answer more questions than in law. And that is how I went back to political philosophy, you know, from the University of Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona. But what touches me, I was smiling when Awichi, my senior colleague, was submitting. You see, during Obote's time, there are people who would move with charge sheets signed because the law was very clear that you don't arrest someone without a warrant. So they would come to bars if they admire your girlfriend. Then they just move near and ask your name, and they just fill your name. So it will still be a valid arrest warrant. So I want to disagree with the views of my honorable minister that we should look at the charges before making statements. The issue was these young boys were rounded up from a political rally. They were rounded up in big numbers. And the moment they were rounded up, they were at police cells, they started now moving backwards. What can we charge them with? And this is a pity, because some of these young people have been in prison since 2001. Since 2021, I mean. Not even 2026. I released a boy from Noya. They were in Kenya for a workshop. They said they were having breakfast in a Catholic arrangement. Then all of a sudden, the military stormed. And when they were brought to Kololo, they said they were rebels. But eventually said he did not know. He just went for an FDC workshop. So, but he told me that where he was in the prison, there were 503 National Unity Platform supporters who had been there for 4 years without any charge. So my plea is, forget about the Amnesty Act, forget about the presidential pardon. I think President Museveni, I stated this before, President Museveni should exhibit the character of a statesman and release these young people unconditionally. Let them go home to dig. The same way we welcome Ugandans from South Africa and took them to Chankwanzi. We should just release all these National Unity Platform members. There are now about 1,300 in prison. These are productive young people. You have won the elections. You have control of government. Unconditionally release these young people. And another thing I've seen, Kanso Kakuru.
Yes.
These young people who are released, I saw some of them at National Unity headquarters. They were speaking to Bobby Wine on phone. Bobby Wine is in America. For them, they are here. And I tweeted that if I were those young people, I would go home. I would not even cross near the National Unity Platform offices because the amnesty certificate has implications. If you are a repetitive offender and you are got,
It will not.
you will not be subject to amnesty. And for the next 20 years, when you try to apply for any visa, because they have taken their fingerprints,
Everything.
you need to go to Dubai for Cheyo. You go to police for certificate of good conduct. They will show that this one got amnesty for armed rebellion. That is why I'm pleading to the president. This certificate will tie these young people for 20 years. Just grant them presidential pardon.
For everybody.
In fact, it should not even be pardon because pardon presupposes that
They have
someone should apologize. Like people are saying, give presidential pardon to Besigye. Can he apologize to Museveni? They should just be unconditional release of these young people. And they just go home and start welding, they start digging. It is more healthy for the country.
Let's take a break. I've spoken to many people today. In NUP, in NRM, other lawyers, and they're saying, after being in prison for 6 years, whichever means you can use to get out, get out.
Right.
And then the rest you can deal with once you're outside there.
You see, also when NUP was being formed, we saw so many amateurs coming to the national scene. They did not have a lot of experience, political experience, to handle issues. We know in our history, we had a case of Ken Luchamuzi, when police was looking for him at Natete there, in a rally of his own, he had to run and squat in a wetland, in Mayuni swamp. Safety. Why should the actor die in the movie? The moment the actor dies in the movie, then the movie is called a horror. Personally, I commanded Entebbe Road, walk to work. That brigade. I also commanded Entebbe Road to cut off Entebbe Road during the Kabaka riot. And I succeeded. By 10, we were through. No vehicle could pass to the airport. But in walk to work, I had walked successfully up to prisons, now up to railway, where they are processing the permits. But the police surrounded me. And I was just seeing Parliament, 200 meters. I weighed my option. The moment these policemen get me,
So what did you do?
I said, okay, we are now going to see who is faster. It's just 200 meters to Parliament. And we had to sprint.
Parliament is immunity.
We had to sprint.
You did a sprint to Parliament.
Precisely, and they were 15 meters behind me. So what I'm trying to say, these young people who have gotten into politics, they need to be very careful and they should learn to read the timings. The better argument would even be a which measure. We made a mistake to go back to multipartism. I think Uganda was not ready. Because now, if they get you and you are on a national unity platform gears, you are finished. It is safer now. Many people have opted to join the NRM, not because they love the NRM, but it's a very good number plate to carry. In the last elections, you even saw the pictures. I saw an FDC candidate, Olanya Gilbert. On one side is having a portrait of Nandala Mafabi. On the other side of the car is having a portrait of Museveni.
And both were candidates in the same election.
In the same election, because the portrait of President Museveni is a number plate. You may reach the last roadblock where they are ordered any position is not to pass. How do you live? You are disturbing Muze's people. So I think as a country, we are not ready for multipartism. The degree of intolerance is high. You just see where Besigye is. He's in Mulago Hospital, chained on a hospital bed. Bobby Wine has fled. Kiza Aaron has fled. Sekamate, President Uganda Law Society, has fled. Lukwago, a lawyer of Dr. Besigye, is in prison. Anyone who is outspoken member of opposition is bound to get problems. So this multipartyism is killing people's children.
So what are the circumstances in our context now that would facilitate that kind of political dialogue?
I still insist, President Museveni has people who brief him, and they are young cadres he believes in. Lately, he listens even to junior ranked officials, lieutenant, because he does not trust those big people. So President Museveni should be told that those boys who are in prison should be unconditionally released. But the challenge with President Museveni, being a former guerrilla, loyalty. Because today I was pleading that they should just forgive Besigye unconditionally. But the $1 million question, my senior minister, Honorable Wanyoto, would ask, if Besigye gets out tomorrow unconditionally, the next insult would probably begin from Kasangati. The next political overtones. So you don't know where the limits are. And in my honest thinking, even if you arrest someone for political reasons, you'll find the whole RPC saying, this one, let us first wait. There are phone calls.
Let me just stay with you for a moment on the same question of you're advocating for political dialogue and you're advising young people to avoid situations that will put them in this condition. And you just described the context. Besigye in prison is the leader of PFF, chained to a hospital bed because he's a prisoner. And facing very serious charges. Bobi Wine, the leader of the biggest party in opposition, is in exile. So in what circumstances can dialogue? Who do you dialogue with? How do you dialogue?
But what do we do?
You tell us.
What do we do?
You tell our viewers, what do we do?
Other than moving, lately I move with my passport everywhere. The other day I was coming for this show.
Preparing to flee or
no, I reached Namasuba. I realized I left my passport. I had to go back to pick it. I could have left it if it was a phone. So these are not normal times. And these are the times that whoever has power should engage President Museveni. The religious leaders are quiet. The other day, the bishop, the Bishop Church of Uganda is Archbishop Kazimba said he does not want to die. He does not want to be Jana and Elohim. He wants life. He said freedom fighting is not martyrdom. So the religious leaders should come. We should have powerful, eminent women. Where are they? The Dora Biemukamas. Cecilia Gwala has died. Rest in peace. So that they go and engage the president in that capacity. And then we have a political dialogue where the president signs a warrant that Bobi Wine should return unconditionally. The next warrant, unchaining Besigye from the Luzira bed. The president must be engaged, because once a person is very old, they also lay back like young children. They get annoyed. They retreat into their own cocoons. So someone should engage the president. And I want to thank Honorable Minister